Alrighty guys, g'day. Welcome. Just in time for London Open. About 20 minutes remaining, so good morning guys, good afternoon as always, very good evening. Hope you're doing well. Apologies about late start. Got in really late, just got in literally like 5 minutes ago. So nonetheless, good to have you all here. If you could, don't forget, hit the like button just so we get more viewers onto the stream. Let them know that I am actually streaming today. And yeah, so obviously I've had some high impact news for the pound just being released. I don't think it's done all that much for the pound. Came out better than expected, apart from the unemployment rate. So therefore could see some strength in the pound. Looks like we're trying to now push to the upside. So hopefully you all had a good start to the week. A mixed bag for me. Yesterday took a win on gold not long after the stream, to be honest, while I was actually making my dinner, and unfortunately that loss on stream. So anyway, without further ado, not in anything just yet. I literally just turned on the PC, first time I've had a look at the charts all day. Alrighty guys, so let's start, and as always I will start with the GJ and looking at the weekly time frame. So obviously forming a strong bullish candle, so it's this stubborn area really between that 190 0.5 and 192 sort of level. So we are technically, based off the previous bearish, I would still look, I'm going to say we're bullish now. We are well above the open, the previous candle, have the high low, almost retest the high of the previous, just pulling back within that. Once again, once I go down to the minor time frames, I'll be looking to see what levels potentially we could pull back to as far as buy options. Obviously it might be sell options also though. I can see gold is just melting my MetaTrader. Not in nothing, guys. It's too late to the chart to jump into anything without doing the analysis. The daily, again, bullish structure. Yesterday's candle, obviously a very strong candle. We did retrace all that move from Friday from the news. Now, current candle. So we left a long wick and we did reject. Really range bound, really between that 192, 192.50, and like I said before, 190.5, even lower down one at 190.20 sort of level. But technically bullish. We got a strong bullish previous daily candle. Just going to mark in the high of the current candle, see what we've got above that level once we go down to 4 hour and M30. So on the 4 hour, we do remain bullish as well. I'm going to mark in resistance, current candle. Still got half of it left, over 2 hours remaining. We have got a higher low and lower, higher high, lower low scenario. So not much in way of counter probabilities. I'll mark in support on the 30 minute, on the 4 hour, just marking these lows. And you could drag this right across, guys, to include those highs there. So kind of in the top third of the 4 hour range, which means potentially we could be looking for rejections from that level. All right, so that's the current daily count size. So just been in consolidation throughout the current day. The M30 structure did flip back bullish, but since looks like it's flipped back bearish in the meantime. Let's see if I'm wrong. I would say this is the lowest point the market got to. So flip structure here. So therefore lowest point is there, not closed below. So yeah, so at this stage we remain bearish really until we close back above that 192.50 sort of level. You're not going to necessarily buy into that because you're buying into 4 hour resistance, but maybe because you can almost sharpen up this zone a bit. There's some pretty clean traffic on the way up based on the M30. So therefore that leaves our bias, I would say, to the upside, because I am including the current weekly as being bullish. It's a 30 minute. So bullish bias, but obviously we always have a plan for both, what we want to see. Just gonna mark in that as support. All right, so on GJ, seeing we're just consolidating, I think it's quite simple just now. I'd be looking for a strong closure above that 192.10. We've got a bit of resistance here to the left that we need to be concerned about. Probably about 12 pips above, 11 to 12 pips above it. So it just depends really where the candles close. If this candle just pushes and we reject that level there, then to be honest, it's going to be difficult looking for the buy option. Probably best to wait and see how the price reacts to that 192.50 sort of level. Kind of want to sharpen this zone up a little bit. Look, I'm going to leave it in, but I'm not going to discount potential buys above the 30-minute resistance formed during towards the end of yesterday. Reason being because it's quite clean above at the M30. So we'll just see how price approaches that level. But at this stage, I will be looking for potential buys above 192.10 on closures above. Not so keen on limit orders. Reason being is because if price pops up, and let's just say we tap into that level to reject, and we close, maybe we still significantly above the resistance and consolidation, I'd be concerned that we're going to reject that level and start heading back down. So limit order in that case, I'm not really going to consider it back at the high of the previous consolidation. I'd rather wait for it to set up again. So that's a buys. Obviously sells from higher up. It's a matter of where. It's a matter of if we reject 30-minute resistance and push deeper into the 4 hour resistance, or we actually pull back to reject that 192.40, 192.50 level for potential sells as well from that point there. So I might actually name this up a bit for the time being, guys, knowing that I'm going to put the horizontal in for the 4 hour. Why did that not change? Okay, one sec. So that's, we know it's the 4 hour, but I'm just going to name this up and use the most recent level. As far as the highest point, I mean, in structure at this stage. So I'm just going to use that, knowing that this is a 4 hour. So I'm just going to type in, just so we know, we could potentially look for rejection of that level, H4 resistance. And I'll lock that. All right. Now, as for sells, guys, once again, potential sells from higher up. Also, obviously, this is support form within the current daily candle. If we begin to really pop below it, start closing at 191.730 so level, I would be looking for my potential sell options at that point there to take it back down. M30 structure is bearish. The daily would be breaking its, well, close to breaking its own low yet again, maybe breaking its own low by the time you get triggered into a trade. So I feel at that point there, that'll be enough to give me the confidence to look for that potential sell upon a pullback yet again. Yeah, so sells below. And that is pretty much it on GJ. Hopefully that makes sense. What else? Anything else I can pick up on GJ? Just going to remove that for the time being. I'll just leave it at that, guys, and we'll move on to have a look at the gold, which has just made a move. Very similar to a trade I took yesterday after the stream, how we had a nice strong closure below the bodies of the candlestick to the left. That is pretty much a catalyst to me to suggest we will continue if we begin to break clean traffic to the left. Had the same scenario yesterday, and it's since just melted. So hopefully some of you may have been in it. But nonetheless, let's do the analysis, see what we can come up with moving forward. Starting once again at the weekly. And so we are forming quite a strong candle so far. Do have a high low, obviously trading within the highs. Fundamentally, and what's going on around the world, I still think gold is very, very bullish and don't expect much of a pullback anytime soon. Doesn't mean it can't, obviously. Don't trade what you think, just trade what you see. So at this stage, it's still suggesting we're bullish though, by the looks of it. So daily, we are bullish. We have a high low, high high to that previous daily candle. We are just pulling back. So let's mark in the low and let's mark in the high and see what we've got either side of those levels. All right, onto the 4 hour. Technically bullish as well in structure. So looks like we're running into a bit of resistance above the current daily candle's high, but either way, I'm just going to mark it in. Could be, once we go down to the 30-minute, could be some clean traffic to the left. As far as the 4 hour, just going to mark that in, see what we've got in M30. All right, so I'm just going to drag this across now. All right, M30 wise, have we created a low? We have just here. So we're technically bullish down here M30 in line with the other time frames. So the bias is still to the upside. What we're doing now is tapping into a resistance we formed during the NY session yesterday. So as far as a potential level that price could pull back to and form a support above or at, I mean, we're pretty much at it just now. There's a level just here, lines up with all that to the left hand side as well. So I would say for gold right now, I want to see how price reacts to the current level. If we are to continue bullish, I'd expect price to respect that level, give me my confirmations within price action to potentially look for a buy to take it back up towards the current daily candles high. Now, aside from that, so that's I'll just mark in buys first of all. Further buy options, obviously upon continuation. So often when I come to a charts of a day, and this is what I say to the guys at Trade NY, you've got the luck of having, well, the benefit, sorry, of having 2 sessions data print prior to when you've come to, or 1.5, almost 2, with London still being open. So you've got a lot of data within it. You've got a high, you've got a low. What you're probably going to be looking for is trades from either from support form within the candle near a low, potentially, or sells upon continuation, or sells from a resistance near a high, or buys upon continuation above the high. So I think you have the added benefit sometimes, but nonetheless, this is what we're looking for the buyers. Just looking for a bit of structure to form this level just now. And if we do respect the current daily candles low, I would, at this stage, it makes more sense for me to look for a potential buy option. Now, do I want to neaten this up? Just gonna I'm just gonna leave it, guys. Just gonna leave it. All right. Now, as for selves, obviously, if price begins to pop back up only to reject, then obviously I'm going to be looking for my potential sell options from a little bit higher up, back below that 23.8750 roughly. If we respect the current daily candles high, the resistance formed at that level on the 4 hour as well, then we're likely going to head back down and just trade at range bound at that point there. Further sells, if we begin to consolidate just now and then start to break below, we've got some clean traffic below that 23.65 roughly. That point there, I'd be looking for potential sell options. I may consider earlier sells though, guys. I'll just see if we consolidate at this point here where we're currently at, then begin to break, then I may take sells down to 23.6450 roughly, because we should have enough margin to look for a potential sell option at that point. So in that case, I just need to wait and see how we react. I would prefer to sell a little bit lower down, but I'm not going to discount sells from below the current daily candles low, as long as we exhaust a little bit prior to it. And that is probably a goal. Hopefully that makes sense. Do let me know. All right, so that's GU and gold and GJ. GJ got just over 6 minutes left. Let's see. Shall I quickly analyze GU? All right, so GU's just broken a support. So the range from yesterday, the zone from yesterday, sorry, remains the same. Let me quickly analyze it though. Starting at the weekly time frame, lower low, lower high to that strong bearish candle. If we begin to break the current weekly candles low, then we're going to head down further. The strength in the dollar is amazing at the moment. It is very strong, and everything else against it is just melting. Obviously, all the majors. Daily structure: bearish, lower high, lower low. Weak bullish closure. That to me suggests we grab liquidity from the upside. If we respect the current daily candles high, there is no need to pull back and break it. If we are to continue bearish, and like I said, if we respect it, we're likely going to continue to the downside. At a bit of a level of support though, so hence why we could be just pulling back a little bit just now. Maybe there is potential for a little bit of a bounce at the current level. 4 hour structure remains bearish as well. Bring some lower highs, lower lows. Nothing looks like it's going to stop at the moment, but once again we are at a level of support on the 4 hour, so could potentially begin to bounce off. Sort of got a little bit more room by the looks of it to tap into it. 30 minute is so bearish across the board. Is that a 4 hour level? Oh. All right, so I'd be looking for rejection below 124.450 roughly, 480 for sells. Could be potential buys above the resistance. Is that the current? It is the current daily candles high. Like I mentioned, we have lower high, lower low, so we have no need to pull back up and break our own high if we were to continue bearish. You can argue we're bouncing off the 4 hour support as well, so that could add confidence to look for a potential buy, but I definitely want to be strict with it and wait for a nice closure above that level. Tap in, continuation. Otherwise, I'd be looking for sells upon rejection to take it back down in line with the overall trend and bias. Sells below current daily candles low, I'd be a little bit concerned about the 4 hour zone. It could definitely continue. Obviously, it's in a downtrend. Whilst in a downtrend, the trend's your friend. It is likely to make a lower low yet again. But I'd rather just wait it out and see how it reacts to that psychological whole level, the key level around that 124 flat for me on GU. 3.5 minutes left. Can I knock off NAS? All right, let me see. 15 on gold. Yeah, I'm not going to look for that impulsive sell entry. I don't feel it's a great option at this point. If it does just pop down at London Open, reason being is wouldn't consider this a strong enough level. But we'll see. We'll see. That would be something that you guys just need to execute really quickly. If I do take it, I'll let you know. GJ. How's it looking in the 4 hour? 4 hour looks okay. What about the hourly? Hourly also looks good. Hourly looks pretty good, guys. What's going to be the issue on GJ right now? You guys let me know. What do you think? I'll get to you guys in chat shortly, and I will eventually analyze NAS as well. The issue with GJ right now would be stop loss. But as far as catalyst for impulsive entries, we've pretty much got it. Or could be having it in the next minute and a half roughly. Got a nice strong closure potentially, closing above the bodies and counts to the left. Could have just been another liquidity grab for read to continue. The majority of the news came out positive for the pound. So if this closes strong, bullish as well above the bodies that counts to the left, as long as we create that lower wick, I may look for potential buys above the high. Sean, good morning to you, brother. Sharif, good morning. Nick, afternoon to you. JK1M, ASX. That will have to be later on. If I'll just remind me, I'll try to have a look at it later. Leon, good day to you. Silent, just wait for gold to break structure, take sells, but if it respects structure, safe for buys. Yep, I think it could be potential buys if it respects its current level. But the focus for me would be on GJ right now. Franco, good morning to you. GJ could be a buy in a short term only, above buy. Good morning. Hans Merck, yeah, I'm considering it. The stop loss though is the issue. You have to use the 15, but I'd want it a little bit lower down, because what could happen in London Open, let's just say it tags you in, so it creates the low wick, then it tags you in, pops back down once again and grab liquidity. It could pop below that range and then begin to flip, similar to what it did yesterday. So I'm a bit weary of that. So I'd probably have a stop loss around 950. That would be about a 17, 18 pip stop loss. So we've got London Open. And if this pops, it's all right, I'm not interested. And this is good, because now if it pulls back, creates lower wick, and breaks its own high yet again, I'm more than comfortable taking the entry. So I'm happy to wait just now, let it do its thing, see if it does pull back to create a lower wick. Seeing it's London Open, I know it doesn't have to necessarily create a lower wick, but I would definitely feel a lot more comfortable if it did so. And also the fact that we had some news released only an hour ago on the pound. So I want to see how maybe it filters through in the first minute or two. It's not a significant enough lower wick. It barely flipped bearish. So I'm just waiting. What's gold up to? Not a lot. Yeah, JJ may go, but that's alright. I'm not interested. I'm gonna just be patient with it. Franco, nice one. I got 30 on gold yesterday. And that was perfect. Again, that was very similar to the breakout we took on gold last week, but it's the opposite end, where you had the catalyst. You had a nice strong closure. This is better on GJ. You had a nice strong closure. I want to keep an eye on this. And this is GJ. So it was on gold, but if GJ breaks it again, I think it could be a good option now. And there's ways to manage it, which is good. So you'd have to enter a bit above the current candle's high, which is on my broker 134. Um, 192152 is where I'm going to look for an entry. Breaks its own high yet again. So 192152. I've got the stop loss at 950. So that's what I'm currently looking at. I'll let you know if I'm triggered in. Yeah, so gold yesterday had the ideal breakout. I thought I'd just suss it out whilst I had dinner ready, or waiting on dinner. It was just here, had a level marked in. I think it was on stream, had a level marked in. Actually, I think I had it a little bit lower down. No, it was there, sorry. And we had that same catalyst as to what we had on Friday, which was the buys, how we had the strong closure just here, well within the zone, right near the low. New candle, it sort of hung around its open for about 2 minutes. It briefly created a low wick, briefly created an upper wick, not much of one though. But I felt comfortable if it broke again instead of clean traffic, it was going to continue, likely to fill the gap of the weekly open, daily open, and create the low wick. It didn't actually create the low wick, but I think it went up like 35 to 40 pips, so I secured around 30. But it was a catalyst. It was a nice entry, in my opinion. Made sense. The issue was stop loss, but I used the stop loss just back above that range. Tell me more into you. I feel well. Silent I did at 40 pips before the new 4-hour candle form, then double dip. Nice one. If gold, you got to be in and out fast, definitely. That's why I feel it's good to have a EA, just to help you with trade management. So I just press the button when I want to close and when I want to get to break even. Set up a little Zoom call. If anyone wants to pop on, you're more than welcome. The deal is, you have to watch on the YouTube stream on another device. On the same device, just mute it and you can listen through Zoom. And there we go. More into you, Steve. Hope you're all, my friend. So I'm not in anything just yet, guys, but that is what I'm currently looking at. I've allowed for 1.8 pips roughly for the spread. The spread's about a pip on IC markets, up or give or take a little bit. So we spent the best part of 5 minutes now in the entry. Created that low wick. We've popped up. We've pulled back to create a low wick. I'd feel more comfortable now if we begin to break again. Silent, I will never forget you, my friend. None of you guys who've been here from the beginning, especially the ones who follow me across, like obviously Silent and all the boys, so some of the ladies as well. All right, let's see if we get triggered in. Now, a concern for me is this level of resistance. So as it taps into that level, I would get to break even. I know it's only like 6-7 pips, but it could reject. So I'm not in just yet. All right, now being triggered in. So let's see how you can manage this. There's a few ways. If it breaks its own low yet again, probably worth cutting partials. And then if it breaks the previous 15, you can cut the whole thing, and then you're managing it quite well. Morning to you, Tony. We'll see. Push up a few more pips, then I'm going to go to break even. Well done. Can I buy it now? It's up to you, my friend. It's near the entry, but I'm not responsible for any of your decisions in the end. Up to you guys. If you've analyzed the trade, it makes sense to you, then by all means. If not, then just sit and wait. It's all good to miss a trade, guys. There's plenty of trades. Lewis, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, brother? Been a while. I know you're a busy guy, but good to see you on the stream. Come on, GJ. Lewis, all good. Things getting back to normal. Should be online more. Nice one. DJ just rejecting a bit. Pushing back. All right. It could be almost time to start managing it if you want to manage it strictly. But I'm keeping it open. And I've trusted the impulse entry more of late because it's worked. Am I going to hold it even pull it back? Contemplating what to do. From yesterday, the thing is, it eventually made the move in line with my analysis, but I maybe cut it a little bit too early. So I'm a little bit weary of that too at the same time. So I want to give it a bit of a chance to breathe a bit. And again, it's about being comfortable with your risk on the table as well. So for me, I'm comfortable to give it a bit more room and just see where it goes for the time being. But there are ways to manage it for sure. If it breaks its own low, then you could definitely start cutting. Gold looks like it wants to continue to the downside. And the 5 minute looks like it could pull back to create a higher low. So I think you should through 50% first, and if you see it going through the other 50% after. Oh, to enter the trade you mean? Or exiting? Managing risk. So that's what I usually do. I usually cut 50. So that's the 15 closure. Yeah, it's not a strong close in 15. I've closed above though. There's definitely ways of managing it. Like I said, if this breaks on low, it's breaking the 15-minute low. You could cut half. At the moment, I'm keeping the trade open. Pretty quiet open though so far. I mean, gold hasn't moved. It's right at where it opened. As is GJ basically. about GU. I will look at NAS after. So GU is rejecting a little bit. I think NAS, the tech stocks had a massive dump yesterday. Wow. Hopefully some of you win sells. But I'll do the analysis a little bit later on. So this couple of weeks I haven't seen that London pullback. GJ usually continues after pre-London. It usually, I mean, yesterday it even continued, didn't it? But I managed to trade prior to it continuing. So that's why I'm wary of. Lewis, time for you to make some dinner? Probably. It worked yesterday. It really worked on gold. I was glued. I was chopping up the veggies. Diced the chicken up. Was making like a healthy fried rice. And I had to keep looking at the phone and stuff this. I'm going back. The camera's about to close. This looks like it's going to give us an option. Rahul. Gold, it's at its support, it's approaching support, so I want to see how it reacts to this level for potential buy options. Possible sells below the current daily candles low if it just consolidates around it and we start to pop low. Otherwise sells below 23.64.68 roughly. But popping below this previous level of resistance, likely going to pull back a bit further. So that's gold. GJ is stuck. Dream lifestyle, good day to you. Rahul, no problem. Stubborn. It keeps popping up towards the entry and back 2-3 pips. Gold just indecisive right now. I don't think it's much as far as news. I'll have a look at it shortly. Needs to break the previous 15-minute high. It's close to it. Here we go. Now it's broken it, so it's looking a bit better. All right, it's almost tap in. Just a tad further, I'm gonna get to break even because it's tapping into resistance here. All right, we've pretty much tapped it now. Got 6 on the table. Yeah, I'm going to break even. You could, if you want, secure a little bit, maybe 30% or 50%, because it's tapping into that resistance. I'm going to wait. All right. Popped up to about 8 pips, guys. So get ready to secure something. Get to break even if nothing else. There we go. All right, guys, I've secured half at right on 8. Franco, 1% profit, nice one. So yeah, get to break even. Took a while, sat through a fair bit of drawdown, but learned anything from yesterday was just to let it breathe a little bit, because yesterday eventually made the move. It wouldn't have, if left the full stop loss in place, it wouldn't have taken me out. Would have gotten very close to it. So let's see. I'll recap the trade afterwards. It made perfect sense to me. Hopefully some of you took it other than just Franco. Well done, my friend. And guys, hit the like button. It's 35 on stream. The way we grow this community is to hit the like button. The way to open up the Discord is to hit the like button so more people know that I'm on stream. More people come to the streams to watch. As soon as we get more on, I will open up the Discord. There will be a lot more involved with Discord. I will do some NY streams on there for only Discord members. And probably more educational content as well. Tony, nice one. So it's come back to the entry. It's probably going to take me out. But secured something. Yeah, all good. Alright. Small win. But that is what I will always say to the guys that I coach. If we're approaching a level to the left hand side, and you need to respect that level, and if you're not going to secure something, but I would generally like to secure something once we hit into it, get to break even if nothing else, because it could reject. You can't just take in anticipation it's just going to burst through a level. It's there for a reason. It's a previous level of data. There's liquidity at that level. As we can see, it's rejecting now. So for me, there was enough room to get to break even, consider securing something, which I've done. And if it goes now, just again, that's fine. And if it breaks its own high, it likely will. However, thank you for the sub. I'm comfortable getting to break even at that point and even securing a little bit. So well done. All right, so now that's out of the way, let's have a look at gold again. What is happening? So gold is now forming a bit of resistance at support. It's tapped into that level of support. You're looking at the 15-minute. What we've got is, obviously we've got a support form, candle closing bullish, followed by a candle closing back bearish. Now within it, the 30-minute is still open, and this 30-minute candle closes back bullish, closing right up near high that bearish candle. I think it could be options take a buy from these lows. But at that point there, what you're going to have is obviously the 30-minute will close back bullish, or close back. So let's just say it closes up here. So that means the 30-minute will close at its current rate. This could drop more, like so. So you've got that closure at support, you've tapped in, you formed a resistance. If you are to continue bearish, you should respect the resistance. Shouldn't really break the high of that candle. High, low, high, high, the M30 at that point there as you begin to break. that potentially could be a option to buy on gold. So that's GG out of the way. $14 likes. Come on, guys. Got to get that up there. Yeah, good to see it, Tony. Silent, always save your bullets. What bullets are you talking about, right? Those are definitely being saved right now, trust me. Franco, yesterday you did manage absolutely correct risk management, maybe because price rejected a lot. It did. At the same time, obviously at the open, it pulled back even more though yesterday. Today was a different confluence because and these are my favorite, what they call it, it's a delayed breakout sort of entry. What I like to see is pretty much what happened, where initially price will pop up at the open. So this candle here pops up, then pulls back to create slow wick. Because if we were to continue bearish, then what we should be doing is continuing to the downside and rejecting this range, start popping below it. So that's the open candle. If we begin to break the low of that candle, we're going to make a deeper pullback. But seeing if we pull back up again, only to break our own high, what that's likely suggested to me is we've just briefly popped back down to grab a little bit more liquidity from the downside, this blue zone. And if we break our own high again, should more often not continue to, well, likely, probabilities, sorry, is the word I should use. The probabilities are that more often than not, we will continue to the upside. So that was my confidence to take the entry. Hopefully it made sense. And yeah, so well done. So as you actually took the trade, good start to the day. Now, what else could we potentially be getting, guys, on gold in the opposite direction? Anyone want to take a stab at it? What is this right there? Had a nice impulse down. What's happened just here? Just a test, just to see who's paying attention. Give you a second to think about it. You've got a nice impulse down. What's this candle done just here? So basically what I'm looking at is if this candle, which it looks like it's popping back up, so it's not going to do it. This candle end up closing like so. Then what's that candle there? A pause. That's right, Franco, a pause. So same thing as the video short, it is. So that is essentially this candle, therefore is the interruption within, what? Wrong one was used. The interruption within this, the impulse down to the downside. So if it was to be engulfed and wiped out on either the following candle or even a candle or two after it, then that suggests to me ready to continue to the downside. So I'd be looking to set limit order as new candle will open up once you've got the confirmation of that engulfing candle. Set limit order on the pullback, tapping into that the low of the bullish candle in anticipation it will reject it and come back down to the downside. Target would be the support over here to the left. But at this rate, there's 15 minutes to wait. Either way, 14 minutes. That candle would bounce back at the support. So we can see why I've got this support in, guys. All right, so let me analyze NAS, because I know some of you trade it. I know some of the people I coach, some of the wonderful ladies and gentlemen I coach trade it. So it's only fair if I do some analysis on it. It's obviously now in a major pullback phase, in a downwards, it's bearish now, the bias. So obviously when it's fear in the markets, stocks tumble, especially tech stocks, but it's still, I mean, look at this. If you being tech stocks, NQQ, I think it is, the EFT, if you were in that for the past few years, you'd be absolutely laughing because this thing's just been on a tear. But nonetheless, let's do the analysis. So the weekly is very strong bearish Top below support to the left hand side, tapped into support here to the left. But still, based off this, what this suggests to me is that we're likely going to close a bearish candle. It's still early in the week, so that could change, but just based off the current candle, I'm going to be likely going down just to the M30, well, 4 hour to see major levels, M30 for minor levels to see where price potentially could pull back to former resistance before I can look for a potential sell option, just based off that weekly time frame. Onto the daily, and we are, by the looks of it, we're flipped bearish. So that's a high. That is a high. It's closed above it. And we've closed below it, so it's bearish in line with the other time frames. Not only that, you have a bit of margin to the downside based off the daily. You've also got lower high, lower low. No need to really pull back and break your own high low. So let's mark that in, and let's mark in a low and see what we've got once we go down to the 4 hour and M30 time frames. All right, so the 4 hours is just consolidating. Is there a reason why? Are we at a level here to the left? Let's go down to the line chart and see. Once again, like I mentioned yesterday, guys, just a little trick you can do. You want to see if we could potentially bounce. Are we at a level? What I would determine to be a significant level now is probably something that taps in on at least 3 or 4 occasions. So let's just mark it in. All right. So we're currently literally at this level. It's tapped into it once. I'd be a little bit concerned it's not quite yet a significant level. Significant enough, because on most other occasions we've either just gone straight through it to the upside or to the downside. We've only had that one little pullback retest of it here. So therefore, to me, I think there is still potential for it to continue to the downside based off that as well. So we know we're bearish in structure as well on that time frame. What I'd be doing is marking in the resistance at the current daily candles high. Why is it changing that to gray? As for support, I know it's it's not really 4 hour. 4 hour support is obviously lower down. Let's mark in some levels on the M30. So as far as potential pullback zones, I mean, I'm gonna mark that in to the left. All right, onto the M30, and look at that. See that level I've just marked in, guys, based off the 4 hour, that support. Look what happened on this candle here. So you finally got closures below it. This candle pulled all the way back up to grab some liquidity from it before it ended up continuing down a little bit, consolidating, eventually coming back down during the Asian session. So to me, I think it's a pretty strong level that net price needs to pop above in order to look for potential buys on NAS. So therefore, what I'm going to do is, we can go back down to the line chart yet again. Let's just see. Let's see on a 4 hour now. Is this going to tap into a few more levels? Well, there you go. Proof. One tap in just here. Second tap in here. That is pretty much a tap in 3, 4. I think that's more a significant level. So there you go, guys. This is free education. Hit the like button. It's for free, guys. I do this to help you guys out. You can take away from what you want into your own trading. But I feel that is a very significant level on NAS for price to pop above if it is to continue bullish. So I'm going to draw in a zone now at that level, and it's a small one because I draw from the body to the lowest point, and that is it. So all right, perfect. On NAS, I'm going to draw in support at these lows. The current daily candle is low. This is the shit I love, guys. So the current daily candle, we've formed a low. We've formed support at that low. If we are to continue bullish, pay attention. We have no need to pull back down and break the current daily candle's low. If we do, we have clean traffic to the left. We're likely going to continue to the downside. So that is definitely an option for me to look for a sell below the current daily candle's low. That is where I'd definitely be keen on selling at this stage. Doesn't mean there's not going to be other sell options, and I'll explain those in 2 seconds time. So that's sells. All right, so the further sell options, if price pops up and respects the current daily candle's high, the resistance formed that level, then we're likely going to head back down to retest the lows. We could just be range bound, pinging between support and resistance. So therefore, anything really below the current daily candle's low, I'll just use the zone because it's a bit cleaner. I would look for sells on NAS in a big downtrend. Further sell options, like I mentioned before, it could be some sneaky buys in between 177.50 and 177.86 roughly, but further sell options, I'd rather just wait and let it tap into that 4 hour zone. It's a significant level, see if it rejects to sell it. It's either going to do one or two things. It's going to reject and you can look for your sells below. So just put sells. Or what it could do is, because if it breaks out of the current daily candle resistance, creates a higher high, could start trending a bit. So it may tap in, may not tap in. Pulls back, forms a support. Could be options to buy at that point there. But the cleaner and safer, in my opinion, options will be wait for it to pop back above that previous 4 hour level, which taps in multiple occasions on the line chart on the 4 hour time frame. So I'd rather wait for price to pop above it, even if it consolidates for a bit. So we're creating some high lows, higher highs in structure before we actually pop above that 17,786.50 sort of level. And at that point there, I would feel a lot more comfortable looking for my potential buy options on NAS. I think that's a pretty good analysis on NAS, if I may say so myself. And that is around an hour in, so I'm just gonna send it over to some of the people who trade NAS, coach. Alright, so let me know, guys. Do you like that analysis on NAS? Do you agree? What are you guys looking at if you do trade it? Alright, what have I missed? Sean, same thing. Same players. Yeah, read that. Pause. Yep. Sean, I've got to go. All good, man. Sorry if I missed you on the way up. One sec, guys. I'm just gonna make a phone call. Sorry, guys. So I appreciate the support. Yesterday we had over 500 views, which for me so far is a lot. And remember, it's just a new channel. So, I mean, we've more than doubled the views, almost tripled the views since the second week. And this is what, week... Is this week 3 or 4? This is week 3. So every week we're more and more views, which is good because it brings more and more people to the stream, and it's all organic, guys. So again, sorry to stress it, but can hit like button, much appreciated. All right, so gold, how are we closing? 15, still consolidating. Yeah, there's nothing on gold just yet. Anything else you guys are looking at? EU is in an absolute free fall. So is AU. As is Bitcoin, actually. Bitcoin's been pulling back. What I've noticed on Bitcoin, a lot of the time these wicks do get filled, in all honesty. If it leaves a long wick in either direction, On a time, it will eventually pull back to retest or to retest the lows in this case, or the highs. A lot of the time, it's doing so just now. I think Bitcoin could be some good buy options if we're me trading it. It's bouncing off a 4-hour support. I would be waiting for perhaps a 4-hour closure in the next 17.5 minutes on Bitcoin. It is anyway. And I think just based off that, because Bitcoin, it's a different beast. I would trade it off the higher time frames, like minimum maybe the 4-hour, maybe the hourly as a catalyst sort of for entry. But if it were me, I'd probably look for maybe a buy with stop loss maybe below the range, targeting 66.50 would be the first potential level. So I hope you learned a few things today, guys, so far, and why I got to break even at that point there, why I decided to secure just a little bit above it. Look what it's done since. It's experience, honestly. A lot would hold thinking, nah, it's going to continue. How do you know? That level's there for a reason. It's previous data. That's what we go off. We look to previous levels to the left to see what could potentially happen, where we could potentially reject, or where we have clean traffic to potentially push to or drop to. So I think it was a really good call. EU is down, hands Merc. It definitely is down. And if it were me, I'd just be looking for sells. EU, look at that from yesterday. Or from Monday. So these zones are still, once again, relevant. Let's quickly look at it on the high time frames. Let's actually do analysis. So weekly, lower low, lower high to the previous. Daily, absolutely bearish. Once again, marking. I wouldn't even be keen on buys, in all honesty. I've just focused on the sells on pullbacks, so I'm not going to bother marking in high of the current daily. I would personally feel more comfortable waiting for at least a nice closure on a daily back bullish if I was to consider any buy options. 4-hour, look at that. Bearish, just continues to make lower highs, lower lows in a big downtrend. Not yet formed support at the current daily candles low on the 4-hour time frame. M30, so obviously bearish. Change that to gray now. So the M30 is technically going to flip back bullish above this resistance here. I would still not feel comfortable buying it. I would rather just patiently wait for a sell option, because the majority of time what you see happen when, especially in a prevailing trend, and this is a big trend to the downside, you often see any pullbacks, it will be likely to be a slower trickle. Not always, and obviously GJ's made a nice move this week. And then once it's formed that resistance, it tends to retrace the whole move in maybe a couple candles. It makes a bigger move down with the actual trend itself, the overall trend. So I'd patiently wait for rejection of 106.30, roughly that level there, for a sell. Otherwise, sells from below 106.435. And I always say, yes, it's good to have a bias in what direction you prefer to be trading, but don't be fixated by it, because you may miss an opportunity. But in this case, I really wouldn't be comfortable buying EU. Fundamentally as well, it is very weak right now. Obviously, all the strength is in the US dollar as well, so I would just wait patiently for the sell option. And if we do get a strong bullish candle closure on a daily, tomorrow it makes more sense once you crank some high lows, higher highs to that candle, if I was to potentially look for any buys. So for me, it's just a matter of where to sell it from. Sells upon continuation, low lows. We got room. By the looks of it, there is a bit of room. Yeah, you got enough room. Oh, actually, oof, maybe not. It looks a lot bigger, doesn't it? I'd be wary of that level. Similar to GJ, I'd just get to break even. The good thing with EU is you can often get a pretty tight 1-to-1. You get like a 6 to 10 pip stop loss often if your stop loss is based off the previous candle, the catalyst candle. So that means you can target that. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, otherwise it just sells upon pullback to what level. anything could happen. It could pull back to 106.50 or 45, but at this rate in the downtrend, it's more probable that it won't. That will reject lower down. So I think 106, 28 roughly, 106.30. That is what I've been looking at on EU. Hansberg, all good, my friend. Anything on so GJ rejecting, gold consolidating, which is okay because it's respecting this level. So who knows? Now strong closure above it. Could be looking for potential gold buys. EU can break. Yeah, I think it can too. It's what whilst it's in a downtrend. Again, lower highs, lower lows is the flavor, so it could definitely do so. Franco, GU, I would take a look at it. Hands back before retrace. Potentially, yeah, potentially into that fire level. But every little pullback is just met by resistance so far in EU and it just continues down. Alright, so GU. So it is respecting that level. Pretty strong approach to it though. What do we got within a 15-minute? Yeah, don't have that support just yet. And this candle, obviously, if it does form that support, what that's going to mean is the 30 minutes going to close back a weaker bearish candle. I'd probably wait for, I think you know what scenario I'd be waiting for right now. It's either one of a few things. You're looking at bearish engulfing. Could happen. Will happen. Who knows? But that will require closing below 1.2430 roughly. Or the other scenario where we potentially get this starting to form a bit of support, even if it's on the 15-minute. Depending how strong or weak the bullish candle that forms support is, it could be looking for potential impulse entries on the next M30 to create a lower high, lower low sort of previous M30, which did close back bearish. So I would prefer to wait for 30 minutes close bearish, a little bit of support to form. You may have to go down to the 5-minute for that, but it's not something I prefer to do. I'd rather wait for the support to form on the 15 and then determine if it's a weak or strong candle. Weak candle, impulse entries will apply. Strong candle, you need to wait for, in my opinion, accounts close below the support, like so, or potential entries. How's the guys? I'm dropping free education. Franco, all good, man. All good. Yeah, Hansberg, it is very similar. It really is. I think GU looks better though, above this level. Hasn't sold off as much because the pound's still relatively strong compared to the other majors. I mean, it's, yeah, okay, it has, but I think right now it's stronger than AU, EU. I think it makes more sense for any counter trend entries on GU than the others at this stage, but I'd rather trade the trend at the moment. Yeah, so GJ looks good for a sell, but tapping into this consolidation, it could bounce off it, create a high low. Yeah, I'm going to avoid the sells, to be honest, guys. Because the same thing happened yesterday. Same exact thing happened yesterday. Where was it? One day around here. I had a level marked in. I think I had pretty much this whole level marked in. And the amount of times we kept popping back, looking like we're going to close below it, only to eventually pop back up and continue with the trend. I mean, it happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So I'm going to ignore the sells for now and just trade the actual trend on GJ, because I feel this better. The cleaner sell options would definitely come below the support form near the current daily candles low. What would give me a little more confidence, I suppose, to sell would be if it consolidates back around the high of this consolidation. Consolidates around consolidation. There's a new one. And then starts to pop back below if it gives you enough margin to sell below that 191, 192 flat sort of level. Yeah, but could make the move just now, so all good. Tell me, smash the like button. That's it. All the education you're getting. Exactly. So GJ is melting. How about GU? GU could potentially give you the engulfing scenario. So engulfing candles to me are probably the strongest catalyst within price action that you can have, in my opinion, to take a trade. Because what that suggests to me, especially at a previous level of liquidity, so resistance level, supply and demand, whatever you like to call it, to me it's resistance. It's the highs of the current daily candle. So the fact that's rejecting that, if it closes bearish engulfing, what that suggests to me is we've wiped out those buyers that were present on the previous candle. We've grabbed more sellers into the market from that previous level of liquidity. Not only that, we've got structure to the downside. We're creating steady, consistent lower highs, lower lows. What will more likely and more probable the probabilities are at that point there for us to do is continue to the downside, create a bit of an upward, come back down to retest the current daily candle's low. So that could be an option. I mean, it still makes sense if this candle closed strong bearish near its low without engulfing. But again, I've got my rules that work for me. I'd be a little bit more comfortable if it was totally wiping out that previous candle. What's gold up to? Gold looks like it could be still pulling back a bit. These tunes, to be honest. All right, so it's melting now. That's all good. Very impulsive entry. If it were me, if I was to take it, to me, it's not technically an entry I'd take. It's not within my playbook. Reason being, it hasn't really closed below anything. The previous candle rejected the 15 minutes been consolidating, and it's just come from the middle of that consolidation. So it's tapped into this level of support, which is again the low of that range for me, the zone for me, and it could bounce off that level. Once again, that's fine, but just not a strong enough confirmation for me to take the trade from that consolidation. Handsmirk GJ is showing, yep, yeah, it is. So, and it could be options based off that. We've had one move out of the consolidation. We're pulling right back into it. So will we just consolidate again, or are we going to come back down to support? I mean, probabilities are we'll eventually make it back down to support, but are we going to consolidate in the meantime prior to it? So once again, for me, I would want it to start closing back below the resistance. Could definitely be entries. I mean, lower high, lower low. But I'm going to, like I mentioned before, I'm going to stick with the trend for the time being. And if it does make the move down, then maybe buys and makes a clean move down. So I can give you guys a hand, I can give you options, but personally I think I'll just stick it out for the time being on a GJ sell. We'll take the profit from the buy. Who wants NY session? Let me know, guys. So NY session will involve NAS a lot more as well. Just consolidating for the time being. 2.5 minutes left and we're just bouncing. So again, similar to yesterday. So again, that's why I'm not really all that keen on selling GJ at current level. Limit order sells in gold. It's way too far down. He's got to pull back some 50 pips from the current level for that. So ideally what I want to see on gold now is, because we're approaching the low of the resistance, I want to see it again consolidate a bit and then closure below it. In that point there, you're moving into cleaner traffic over here to the left, so more likely to head back down to retest the 4-hour support if that was to be the case. Once again, if you haven't hit the like button, please feel free to do so. I know some don't. Some are just, I don't know, cruising around for trades and weren't happy with yesterday probably, so I got a few dislikes, which is, it's all good. But I'm not responsible for what you guys do. If you trade and you agree with the trade I'm taking, by all means. A lot of time when I give out the analysis is correct. Doesn't mean it's always going to be an entry, and it doesn't mean that your entry is always going to be a winning trade. But you learn a hell of a lot. We progress. I gave options for gold after the stream. And GJ today made the move for us, so. Alright, so gold's closed back above. Now, the riskiest option right now is simply a sell limit back at low of the bullish candle. A very risky entry, because what it could do then is pop back up and start closing back above the range. It's at a pretty strong level right now. I wouldn't call it a really significant level, but it is a level that I do anticipate maybe we might have some buyers present. May make a little bit of a pullback. But personally, I'd rather wait for what I mentioned a little bit earlier about the consolidation and maybe look for closures back below 23.64. So a bit of exhaustion would be nice yet again. Maybe on the 30-minute. 4-hour will be closing in an hour's time. So maybe if it's with the new 4-hour candle creating its upper wick, rejecting, breaking below low of the current, and that could provide some really clean options moving forward. How did GJ close? Yeah, closed engulfing, but still respecting that level. Sharif, I think even if you get a dislike, it still helps the stream. I think it does. Pretty sure it does. It's the engagement. But it's funny because when I check the analytics, there's still a fair portion who aren't actually subbed to the channel, so even if your favorite streamer, you never know, you may not stream for a few days or might be away, so it's good to have a backup, so why not sub? Vishagra, any views on GJ today? Well, took a little GJ buy before, secured as pretty much just above was price tapped into this resistance. Right now, I mean, now it's tapped into that level, and above it you're running into more resistance. For me, I think it's the key area just now is if I was to drag this zone down, because it's a 4-hour level, drag it down to here, I think it's pretty strong level for price to see how price reacts to it, because if it does reject that could be a potential option to start looking for the counter trend sell if we reject yet again that 4 hour zone. However, what I've got marked in for horizontal is because on the 30-minute above this level here, we do have some pretty clean traffic to the left hand side, enough margin to fill to the high of the resistance, well, to the bearish candle there at least, which is the resistance candle. Obviously bearish candles form resistance. Let's quickly measure it in. Yeah, just under 30 pips. So there could be potential buys above that level. However, yeah, I'd want a nice closure above it. It's good we have exhaustion, so I think if you had a nice closure above it, it could be options. But just be wary, it could reject because it's at a 4 hour level, and then the sells could be present from higher up. Otherwise, at the current daily candles low, just above it, will form to support them at 30-minute time frame. So what should happen if we do come back down to it now? Should form support yet again and look for potential buys above it if we create a nice clean move now to the downside, cut through some of this consolidation, clean move up, clean move down. I'd be looking for buys from lower down. Once again, having said that, if we break the support form just above the current daily candles low, we're likely going to tap into the current daily candles low, create a lower low, continue to the downside. So at that point there, the 30-minute will also be flipping bearish. So that's how I play it. But what I say before, guys, how it could just bounce off this level. That's why I'm not keen on selling it. We're in an uptrend, we're in a bullish uptrend, more bull trend. So if it does, like I said before, consolidate a bit and start to close back below, maybe you can get a cheeky sell back down and support, but I'd stay away from the sells just for the time being. I'd rather look for rejection higher up for a sell option. So hopefully that answers your question. All good, not a problem. Hansmerk, GJ, consolidation. It could potentially consolidate, but again, it's above that level, so that's why I'm not so keen on the sell. So unless we consolidate and start popping below the new support we are trying to create just now above the previous resistance or previous consolidation. So it could well do. I mean, we're tapped into, you could really drag that down. Tapped in, rejecting that level. So it's becoming a little bit choppy now. I mean, it was before, but we started to move out of the consolidation. We're now pulling back towards it. The more data we start to print without creating a nice clean move makes it, in my opinion, a little bit more difficult to trade. So the last thing you want is for it to chop about like this, because it's just going to make it very tough to trade moving forward. Hansmerk, no worries, my friend. Gold pulling back. Again, the really risky entries and limit order back at 23.70. Thank you for the sub. A limit order sell, but I'm not going to take it because still feel it could bounce off that level. We still are in an uptrend on gold. So for me, what would give me more confidence, like I said, a bit of consolidation, we start popping below it, or that pullback to create a lower high, come back to retest the current daily candles low, start to pop below it, back below 23.64.60. Got some cleaner traffic to the left beyond that level there. So that's when I feel a lot more comfortable looking for the sell on gold. even on the 5-minute, last pause he had was pretty much that same level. Well, let me check something. No, not really. Any other questions, guys? Keep them coming, keep them rolling. I'm happy to answer. Again, it's all free education, so you ask away. Gauss, the GU did close back weaker than what I would have liked, and not quite even a support. It'd be better if they actually closed back bullish, and then if this candle engulfed it, then I'd be all over the sales if it were me trading GU. Still makes sense though, if this 15-minute does close below the low of that previous candle, probably enough, because then look at that, you got some clean traffic to the left hand side. I'd rather wait for the confirmation and not look for the impulse entry, just in case it does similar to what the previous candle did and pull back, only to close back an indecision sort of candle back at the resistance. So I'd rather wait for the confirmation. What I mentioned before is you may have to go down to the 5-minute for that support and closure below it. Look at that. So I feel on GU, if it starts to close below that level there, I'd be waiting for the 15 to do so. So the next 5 minutes and 40 seconds to be exact. Closes below the 5-minute support, then I feel there could be some options. You got clean traffic on all the time frames, the 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute. I think it's a pretty good option to sell it, to be honest. You may even just wait for a 5-minute closure below. I don't trade the 5-minute as much. I can use it as confluence. I'd rather see that slightly higher time frame, the 15 or the 30. Give me that catalyst. Once again, guys, hope you like the explanations, the analysis. If you do, don't forget to just smash that like for me. I want to get this stream. I know it's going to take time, so it's starting fresh. I wanted to get back up to, you know, #1 spot. Sharif, I believe you started with swing trading. How did you get into scalping? Yes, I did. I go into scalping through the actual community that I was initially traded with back in the day. I mentioned it was a crypto group who they had a little section for Forex trading. That's how I come across Forex. It was predominantly swing trading. However, some of the guys did scalp. Signals were involved too, I'm not gonna lie, guys, back 6 years ago or something. So I came across scalping. I thought, hang on, I'll do a little bit more research myself about it, and decided it resonates more with me because I didn't have to wait so long for the same sort of return. Often I'd wake up of an evening looking at my position in a swing trade only to find it gone. Well, I'd be up, let's just say 40-50 pips prior to bed, comes back towards the entry. When you wake up in the middle of the night, I found it very hard to sleep again. So I found it more of an emotional drain than scalping, believe it or not. So yeah, that's how I came across scalping. Steve, good morning to you. Hope you're well. Sharif, am I still in touch with those guys? How are they getting on? No, I'm not. I received a message from the owner of the group probably about a year ago, just touching base. I'm thinking you screw me out of enough money, to be honest. I'm not jumping back in, but I thought he may have a proposal, but apparently it's just sussing things out. I did tell him I do my own thing now with streaming and all that, so. But they're all killing it with the crypto anyway, so he was already a multi-millionaire. I don't think he worries too much about it all, to be honest. I think he was buying Bitcoin back when it was, when was it? 2000 and when was it first? When it first come out, release, whatever. When was it invented? I think he said he was buying it to purchase stuff online, which he could not do through PayPal. I think in America there were more restrictions at the time. So he was trading it when it was like 20 cents a coin or whatever. Steve, all good? Yeah, all good, man. Been a busy day. Got to the stream late. Had not looked at the charts prior to the stream, and going to a Gbpjpy not too long after being on stream, which took a while, but eventually tapped into the level I was concerned about, so I decided to secure some for a small profit. Yesterday's trade worked out and daily flip got 200. Wow. On NAS, wow. Yeah, it's melted. Yep, I think we spoke about that yesterday, and look at it since. Well done. Well done, my friend. And I feel today could be similar. If the daily breaks its own low, there is room for it to continue down. It is in a big downtrend right now. Continues to create low highs, low lows. Likely it will, until all else fails, maybe have a 4-hour closing back bullish. It's likely to continue to the downside. So and I've got potential buys above 17,786.50 roughly. Reason being, I've gone down to line chart and onto the 4-hour to look for stronger levels where price is tapped in on more occasions. And I feel this is a pretty relevant level, and it lines up with a previous support that we broke yesterday as well. So that's the reason as to why I want to see price pop above that level to feel more comfortable if I was to look for buys in this overall downtrend. Similar to EU, if nothing else, best to probably just wait for a nice closure on the daily and then play it tomorrow, looking for the high high, high low scenario for the buy options. DJ could be forming that consolidation just now. How did GU close? Still above. Still above that level. Sharif, are you more successful with sells or buys? You're more successful with sells? I prefer to sell, but to be honest, guys, I need to start my journaling again. I've been really lazy with it because I'm flat out. It's no good excuse though, because everyone should be doing it. But what I found from the results last year when I was strictly journaling, I actually had a slightly better win rate when I was buying, which I could not believe. To be honest, I was selling more though than I was buying, but I think the win rate when I was buying was like 81 or something, and when I was selling it was like 72 or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm lagging, guys. Am I lagging? Seems to be the case on my end. Seems to be buffering. Trello's good for journaling. It is. I initially used Trello ages ago, but then I just switched over to an Excel spreadsheet. Thanks to good old Mr. John from the other stream, who's spoke to last week, first time in a while. young man, not old man. Good friend of the stream, as all you guys are. Pretty much all you guys, I remember. Few new faces, which is fantastic. I'm glad to have you guys on board. All right, DJ again respecting this level, so there we go. Yeah, Trello is really good for journaling. I had a really detailed Trello at the time. I had plenty of different tabs, screenshots left, right, and center for every trade, like multiple screenshots. Screenshot prior. Sorry, first screenshot was the analysis for today with a bit of an explanation, which I did prior to taking any trade. Second screenshot was entry prior to trade, like what I was looking at. Third screenshot was whilst I was in the trade, and I'll explain what happened after it though. And then the last screenshot was obviously after the trade had finished, the result and all. That was really detailed, and I label it like red for shit entry, stupid trade, emotional, whatever. Took it for the wrong reasons. Yellow, so traffic light. that's how I label it. Yellow is made sense, but probably wasn't the best option. And green was just stuck to all the rules, felt comfortable, took the trade, and it made perfect sense. Win, lose or draw, sometimes it wasn't a winning trade, but it was definitely a good way to journal. But mark my words, wow, it took a long time. Not for everyone, that's for sure. Is there such thing as... I think there is, Sharif. Yep. I think there really is. And sometimes what they call analysis paralysis, it puts you off taking a trade. So I try to... It may sound complicated, but to me it's simple what I'm analyzing. But again, I'm just looking to the left always to see what we're up against. And I see level. My analysis says to get to break even at that point, consider securing. That's what I'll do. To me, that's not over analyzing. Sometimes in drawdown I may, because you guys know I don't like to sit through too much drawdown. I'd rather manage my trades. But yeah, it should be as simple as really knowing a bit about where the general direction is on the higher time frames. Obviously that is key. Knowing where you are within the chart and what levels you are within the 4 hour, 30 minute, also the daily obviously, but I will often line up with the 4 hour. And then just being aware of where you want to get involved in trades, and then what you want to see, what you want to look for to take a trade. But yeah, I think you can definitely have that issue where you over analyze and you're not too sure. You start to confuse yourself because you talk yourself out of a trade. That's when it becomes an issue. Alright, I was tapped into that level. If anyone did take a limit order sell, get to break even, secure. Because it looks like it's tapped in and rejected. Oh wow, look at that. How's that? And it's good to see, even though I'm not in the trade, it's good to see, because could be more, it would make me more comfortable next time or to look for that entry, because I prefer to see it where you have that nice impulse, one candle and continuation, then look for the limit order. This is essentially limit order back consolidation, but again, technically I would have been at break even by now. And possibly would have secured something. Good thing with the limit order is you get a much higher stop loss. So let's just say I was looking to enter there, I'd have my stop loss likely minimum above that bullish candle's high. So that'd be just over 30 pips, around 30 pips. Hansberg. So EU is showing bearish engulfing at 15. EU. On the 15th, EU is just, it's pulled up an area though where you're sort of running into support here on the 15th. It's pretty choppy price action as well. That wick, I'd be concerned that that could pull up within it. Yeah, I think EU it's best below 106.15, 115, sorry, but you don't really have the margins to sell at that point there. What's GU doing? GU's not, so EU's just continuing along the trend. Sure, if I hold on to losses longer than a winning position, I've tried lowering lot size, but still by myself doing the same thing. Any advice? Appreciate it as always. Promise. Last question. Oh, all good. Appreciate the questions. So holding on, losses long. So you hold on to the losses longer. You just need a set formula, man. You need some rules. Simple. And at the start, it's hard to follow. But what you need to do is practice those rules for at least a month. So maybe low lot sizes while you're practicing it. Gather enough data and just see what the results are in the end. So you might say you've got strict rules. Let's just say you were at Gbpjpy with us before. You might say to yourself, right, broken the high. We created low wick. Got in a little bit later, it's broke its own high again. We have no need to pull back down. If so, definitely cutting 50%. My initial stop loss, mine was a little bit lower down, around the 950 to be exact. And you can say to yourself, right, so that's the option, 50%. Next option is, all right, so if we close the 15 bearish, it creates lower high, lower low, I'm just closing a trade and being strict with that. Just see how it goes for you for the next little while. It may work, it may not. Because if you're doing what you say you're doing, you're holding your losses and you're holding longer than your winning positions, then you're never going to end up on the right side of things, to be honest, man, because your losses will always outweigh your wins. So I prefer generally to manage my losses, because then I know I don't need as big a win to get it back. Sometimes I will, like yesterday I got over a 30 pip win. So you'll get those nice trades, but if you can minimize the loss, so your initial risk might be 2%, if you can cut it down to even 1 or 0.75 or 0.5%, it makes it easier to cover in the long run. And especially if you got a good win rate, then you always end up on top, in my opinion. So create some rules and try your very best just to stick to it. Be mechanical about it. And it may be difficult because you're going to see some trades go your way and you closed out early, like me yesterday. But if you can practice that discipline and become good at it and not getting emotional about managing and holding on, and once again moving forward, you're going to be in a much better world for it when it comes to trading. Much better state. Man, Vic, Uber Eats wages are $20 an hour now. Really? Uber Eats? Is that here in Oz? Oh. Wages, how's that? But I suppose the petrol will be costing a fortune as well. USA? Probably the same here in Oz then. It's gold pulling back. This is good. This is what I wanted to see on gold to trust it later on. It was 3.5 before. Yeah, see, I thought they got paid commission or commission based depending on how many jobs they took and all that. But now they're getting a wage? Wow. You'd want it to be a wage on top of commission. Or commission, sorry, on top of the wage. Alright. right, GJ back up. That's all right. Once again, let's see how it reacts to that level. I'd be more comfortable looking for buys above that 192,350 moving forward. Seeing we've now pulled back, respecting this consolidation, created a high low within the trend. We are technically bullish now on the M30. And if we pull up, create that high, likely what we're going to do is tap into that 30-minute resistance within that 4-hour level. And it could be options moving forward. It was pearled. Yeah, so that's how it is here. It could be different now, I'm not sure. So that's GJ, guys. As for sellers, once again, this horizontal is the 4-hour resistance, the start of it. So if price pulls up, I wouldn't be looking for sells anywhere below it at this stage. I don't think. I'd rather see what happens. If it pulls up, rejects, and we start to form a bit of structure at these highs, lower lows. As long as we make that clean move now to cut through the resistance here to the left, then I would look for the sells from higher up. I think that would be a good option. Buyers from lower down if it makes a nice clean move down. Otherwise, sells below support form just above the current daily candles low. Like Australian brokers, especially Blueberry. I did sign up to Blueberry, but I actually never funded it, to be honest. Maybe down the track, I'm not sure. As for gold, so once again, this level is strong enough level for price to bounce off it. The level of liquidity that I've drawn up, and I anticipate maybe a bit of a pullback. So right now, the 4-hour is likely to close a pretty strong bearish candle. Still got 30 minutes left, so anything could happen. But if it does close strong bearish, and then the new candle opens up, creates its upper wick, rejects, it may pull back to that previous support to reject. You can look for your sells from higher up, if that is to be the case, because you're creating a lower high within price action after creating that lower low. Otherwise, if it just creates a bit of a minor pullback just now, price begins to pop back below that 23.64. I feel at that point they're likely going to head back down towards 23.52, which is a 4-hour level. Now, as for buys, you mentioned that we could pull back to this level and bounce off it. Technically, we remain bullish in structure. So, like I said before, looking at the 15 at this level, we consolidate and we start to pop above that consolidation. So, almost draw that in, and if you get closures above it at this stage, got clean traffic to the left, you could take a buy in anticipation. It may pull back, maybe to make that lower high, could reject, but it could well also pull up towards that 4-hour resistance yet again to retest the current daily candles high around that 23.86 level. So I'd be looking for buys upon closures above that level there. Let me mark it in. 23.75.30. That's the resistance on the 15-minute time frame. So preferable, what I want to see is a 30-minute closing back bullish, and then, well, at least you got one now, but you want to see maybe a tap into that level, a bit of rejection, and another candle closing above. May have to happen on the 15-minute low. But that's what I see for buy options, buys above that level just now. And that is gold. I think that's about it, to be honest. Man Vic, 3K, I'm in Oz, my friend. Hence why the background has gradually gotten darker in my camera, because it's now 6:30 p.m. in the evening. So that's a wrap, guys. That's what I'm looking at. I'm all in BTC. I think Bitcoin's at a pretty good buy level, but it needs to hold. You mentioned it before, this zone here is pretty strong. Yeah, I want it to hold 60, 70 roughly for it to continue to the upside. 12 here, noon. Okay. Good luck to you. Wow. Alrighty, guys. You in BTC? I'm not in BTC. I have got like a tiny amount of Bitcoin, but it's not worth even worrying about. It's like dust, little fragment. So that's it, guys. I think that's a wrap. I'm gonna leave it at that. Good stream. Small win on GJ, better than no win. Nice closure on that previous candle. Halvings in the 19th. Yeah, but it could be by the rumor selling it. Well, not obviously, it's not a rumor, it's definitely happening, but I think it could be one of those where they sell in the news, so it will not surprise me if it sells off just before it or just after it. But yeah, so that's a wrap, guys. Well done today. Make sure to hit the like button on the way out. It's the only way to get the content out there to others, to let them know that I am here. Get more subscribers to the stream, and when you start to open up that Discord. Yeah, so thank you. If you'd like to know more about any of the services I do provide as far as private coaching and that, you can contact me via Gmail, email. Links are down below in the description. Make sure to give me a like, to follow on all the different social media outlets. That's how you get free content I post regularly. So make sure to give me a follow. If I run into a bear market will come, maybe, could definitely do so. Sharif, no problem. To the rest of you guys, trade safe. We'll should be able to do the MI update. Could take, yeah, give me a few hours. I've not stopped all day, but I'll likely eventually get it posted. Steve, all good. Everyone else, thank you once again. Well done. Take care. Trade safe. Here's my friends, and bye for now.